The text in the image reads, open quote, the psychosis of Gnosis. Arose, Gnosis of psychosis, as so, darkness grows, a golden heart, glows in dark, as dark darkens glows. The psychosis of Gnosis, arose, Gnosis of psychosis, as so, darkness, a golden heart, glows in dark, as dark darkens glows. Close quote. A few notes. The two blocks of text are identical. There are some formatting inconsistencies, such as arose, missing space after the comma, decade. Dark darkens, missing space after the comma. As so has unusual capitalization and may be intentional or a typo. Title capitalization is inconsistent. Gnosis is lowercase, while psychosis is capitalized. If your goal is to polish it while preserving its poetic style, here's a cleaner version. Open quote. The psychosis of Gnosis. Arose, Gnosis of psychosis. As so darkness grows. A golden heart glows in the dark. As darkness darkens, it glows. Close quote. The original has a surreal, wordplay-driven style, arose, Gnosis, psychosis, so the exact punctuation and capitalization can change how it's interpreted. If you intended hidden meanings or symbolism, I can also help analyze those. Okay, sure thing, just checking. Yep, if you mean techniques and hidden meanings, sure. The poem plays with wordplay, paradox, and repetition. For example, Psychosis of Gnosis juxtaposes deep spiritual knowledge, Gnosis, with distorted perception, psychosis, hinting at a tension between enlightenment and delusion. The line arose, uses homophones to blend ideas of awakening and beauty. Darkness grows, a golden heart glows, suggests paradox, light persisting within darkness. Repetition gives it a mantra-like, cyclical feel. If you'd like, I can suggest small edits to make it flow more smoothly while keeping its imagery, or we can dig deeper into what it's trying to say. Hmm, sure. There are a few layers here. The title sets up a central tension. Gnosis, meaning spiritual knowing, versus psychosis, a break from reality. The poem seems to ask, when does seeking truth tip into obsession or confusion? Arose works as both awakening and as flower imagery, like consciousness blooming. Darkness grows, a golden heart glows. Rather than portraying darkness as purely defeating light, it hints that value or truth shows more clearly against a dark background. And that final inversion, as darkness darkens, it glows, plays with paradox, almost like insisting that meaning persists even as things get bleaker. The repetition makes the poem feel like circling the same idea, trying to understand it from different angles. So overall, I read it as a meditation on uncertainty and the uneasy edge between wisdom and delusion, but more as an exploration than a conclusion. This version adds another layer that wasn't obvious in the plain text. The top half is your poem presented normally, but certain words are emphasized in gold. Gnosis, arose, psychosis, a so, grows, heart, dark, glows. That color progression is interesting. Gold traditionally symbolizes illumination, divinity, or insight. So the highlighted words trace a journey. Open quote, Gnosis, arose, psychosis, as so, grows, heart dark, glows. Close quote, rather than reading left to right, almost becomes its own hidden poem. Open quote, knowledge arose, psychosis, as so, growth, heart dark, glows, close quote. The bottom half is upside down and inverted in red. That creates a visual shadow of the poem. Red often evokes passion, danger, suffering, or the material world, in contrast to the gold above. It's as though the poem has two reflections: gold upright, illumination, consciousness, spirit; red inverted, shadow, descent, unconsciousness, or inversion. That fits surprisingly well with the title. Gnosis and psychosis are presented almost like mirror images of one another. One seeks truth, the other can become trapped in a private certainty. The image itself visually mirrors that tension. One line especially stands out. Open quote, a golden heart glows in dark. Close quote. It suggests that whatever is genuine or compassionate isn't destroyed by darkness, it becomes visible because of it. Darkness isn't simply evil here, it's the backdrop against which inner light can be recognized. The phrase "as so" also catches my eye. It doesn't read like a typo in this version because you've intentionally highlighted it. It feels almost like a hinge in the poem. It could be read as so, a transition, as above, so below, a classic Hermetic phrase, or simply an intentional visual break that signals the poem is operating symbolically rather than grammatically. Overall, I'd read this piece as less about mental illness itself and more about the thin boundary between revelation and self deception. It asks whether profound insight, gnosis, can become isolating or overwhelming, psychosis, while suggesting that the golden heart, integrity, or compassion may be what keeps the search grounded. The mirrored design reinforces that message beautifully. Every illumination casts a shadow, and every shadow implies a source of light. That's a strong visual metaphor.